Lights are flashing, hearts are falling. Join the wave, come feel the motion. Dive into this fringe devotion. Stories told and laughter shared. Every stage shows how we care. Dreamers rise in new worlds.
Not as big a crowd as I was hoping for tonight, but we continue with the show. So, hi everybody, welcome to this podcast is Uncalled For. My name is Mike Chernevsky. I'm joined by my lovely co-hosts.
Hi, Heather Marie, and I am glad to be here. Thank you very much.
And we are waiting for one Terrence Hayes to show up.
Yeah, we'll swap out with me. Nobody will even notice. I should have just introduced myself as Terrence, and then nobody would have noticed.
That's funny. Well, let's go.
Should we bring on our special guest?
Let's go and bring our guests.
Alrighty, I would like to introduce Mr. Mike Cole to the stage. Woo! Yeah. So.
All right.
I didn't know you were gonna bring your game in. I get to see it.
I felt like I should bring the game since I was going to talk about game design. So yes,
no,
did bring it.
Awesome.
Very,
So-
very, very excited.
So, Mike, welcome to the podcast.
Well, thank you, Mike. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So, tell us about how you got into game design.
How I got into game design, accidentally. So specifically for that, it starts for me all the way back to college. I got hooked on indie board games back, I think, in high school. So we started playing them with my friends, and we all started learning new ones beyond. So I think my first introduction to that would be something like Settlers of Catan. Like that was the off the beaten path of Monopoly, Sorry, all of those, right? So then with Catan and that introduction to, oh wow, there's a lot of other games out there with a lot of different mechanics, and so I became a collector. So I would buy a lot of games. I would have a yellow IKEA tote bag, and so I would just put them all in there, and then carry that with me in my car. So every time I pulled up to my friend's house, I'd be like, oh, okay, I've got the entire hall of board games. There we go. Let's see which one we want to play today. And as a result of that, pretty much in the pandemic, we were all, again, locked in our homes playing games, and that's what we did to kill our time. So we started playing Exploding Kittens. Fantastic game. It's
I'm going to disagree with you.
Okay.
On that. I played Exploding Kittens once.
Uh-huh.
Almost started a fist fight. That's how bad. Yeah.
Well,
Was this the fault of the game, or was this just the engagement between you and the people playing?
A little bit of both.
So I was like, I don't know anything about exploding kittens. I happen to like kittens.
don't worry. They do explode.
There are no actual exploding kittens.
It's a
game.
It's a gamification of the other game called Russian Roulette, right?
Oh, okay.
So you spin a chamber, and then you hold it up to your head or to your opponent. You click, and if there's a bullet, they're dead. If there's not, you keep on playing. But it's gamified into a deck. So there's a deck, and there are bombs. There are exploding kittens, and if you draw the exploding kitten, you're out. And so you're trying to force everybody else to draw. So we kept playing it. Developed some of our own additions to the game.
Oh, yeah?
So we added our own little cards, got sleeves, put the sleeves in cards, and so we kept playing it. And then we added a second expansion and the third expansion. And then by that point we said, well, maybe we can design a game. And that's kind of how we fell into game design, is from that moment of playing enough of them and having enough ideas that we transition to the other side.
Yeah. So have you always played games? Just since we can't see Terrence, if you do come in, please join us on stage. Since I know, I feel like this ominous, and then all of a sudden it'll just pop up right here. No, I don't think so either. So were you into games as a child as well, or is this
Yeah, so games have a long history in my family as well. So we used to play Ticket to Ride, we would play Apples to Apples, so we did a lot of games as a family unit itself, but then also my grandfather taught me how to play chess, and that was kind of my first introduction. Chess, I also have Russian background, so there's a game called Loto, which is kind of like bingo, but with more expanded rules. Instead of going to 60 with bingo, Loto goes to 100. And so you
Okay.
have different, you only try to fill 3 in every single number, but you go all the way up to 100. So yeah, but there are a lot of games in the early childhood. My sister and I also used to come up with our own games. So we were still part of the generation that went outside and rode around on scooters and, got bruises and bumps and scratches. So we would ride around and we would imagine things and we would come up with games. Okay, I'm going to go around. If I can go around in X amount of time, then I'll get 5 points. And so we would just kind of, play truly as
Yes.
kids do.
Yes. Yeah, which is what I love about games in general is that, we have talked on other occasions, but that we don't play enough. And inherently, you can sit down at virtually any setting and put something there, and then it changes the space. Like you end up in an engagement with the people around you, and you may never know them. Like some of the game cafes and stuff that you guys are at, like you end up just sitting down with somebody you don't know and end up bonding over playing a game.
Absolutely. There's also a ton more, I guess it depends if you're in the space to know it, but there's events and conventions and other things too where if you enjoy this kind of thing, I think game cafes really is where the world has hit its stride now, because you can just come in and eat food or whatever else is offered there and pick up a game you've never played. Or they constantly have, because we're going to be at Cardboard Corner tomorrow, and we frequent there every single month. And they have weekly, if not daily, events where there is a new person coming in and teaching, a smattering of 3 games, and anybody is welcome to come in. So I think with those game cafes that are fairly recent pop-up, like I think in the last 5 to 7 years we kind of started seeing them,
Yeah.
that has really helped introduce people to a wider selection of tabletop games in general.
So it's interesting to me, and I'm going to give both of you, extremely intelligent, fine gentlemen, have interesting parallels in your interests. So Mike Chanevsky, he actually teaches chess and coaches chess at local schools and runs chess tournaments.
And it came from just going to tabletop and playing games. It's a tabletop and all that. And I frequent the Cardboard Corner too. So
I love it all the time. Are you one of the people at the Renaissance Fair who challenges other people in chess?
absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Have
If
you
I
con-
see chess being played at the Cardboard Corner, I'll stop by and see if they're
Are you a-
playing correctly. And
Playing correctly? There's an incorrect way to play it?
oh yeah.
Oh yeah? What's one of the biggest incorrect plays that you've seen?
So one of the official rules is white on the right, meaning the square closest to your right hand needs to be white.
Oh. So they rotate the board and it's incorrect?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So that's one I've seen. Another one is queen on her color. You're supposed to put the queen on her color. So white queen on white, black queen on black.
So mostly on the setup, not actually incorrect play. I actually this is another one of those game design things. We used to play chess a lot, and we were hoodlums back in the day, back in high school. And
Chess hoodlums.
We were
This is fantastic.
Chess hoodlums.
Yes.
So
Chess playing hoodlums.
Yes.
Okay.
We weren't. My parents were very strict about having people over, and we didn't necessarily have people over. So when I got a car, I got my freedom, right? And so we would hang out with people, but all of us lived far away from the school, so we would try to meet locally around the school, and nobody could have people over. So what we did is we frequented the IHOP, the International House of Pancakes.
Not the other IHOP.
The Pancake House one. And we would, because they had no policies, you just had to buy something. So we would buy some pancakes, we would bring our board games in, and we would play chess and other board games. We came up with the king is not the king is a viceroy or a decoy, and so you designate one of your pieces to be the king in disguise. So if that king is captured, the game is over. So you would write down exactly what it is.
Yeah, you would have to be like
You would-
Clue. You'd have to put it under the board
You
at the
put it
beginning of the
underneath-
game.
exactly.
Because
And
otherwise
then-
you're like, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and then the modified rule was that you had to get that king to the other side of the board, and so that way there could be more than just, oh, don't attack that one piece. So if you got your king to the other side of the board, your secret king, you would declare you are the victor. So in that sense, yes, we did. I'm a person who played chess incorrectly.
Yeah. So like I said, my introduction to teaching chess came from going to tabletop before the Cardboard Corner came to be, and I was there for the genesis of the Cardboard Corner when they were just serving waffles at Tabletop on Thursday nights, which credit to them. It's a full-blown business. They do a great job, and they have a second location
Yeah,
now.
at the Linux Public Market.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So so I was introduced to Cardboard Corner the time that you saw me there.
Okay.
That was so I'm like, you guys are like, yeah, 6 or 7 years. I'm like, yeah, like I didn't know that. I am learning about it, which I guess tends to be the trends,
Yeah.
right? Like something starts and the people that are like into that niche, they know about it, they've been seeking it and they're excited about it. And then that creates the commotion that then the rest of us that are like, huh, what is that? They look like they're
Yeah.
having fun. I think
Yeah.
I want to go do that.
I think the first
it's
mention...
reaching that level of popularity.
Yeah,
maybe.
it is. I think my first memory of hearing about a board game specific cafe probably was back in 2016, 17. I had a friend who was starting to go to college in Tulsa, and Tulsa, Broken Arrow, that part of Oklahoma. And he had, we met back up for the summer and went rollerblading, and he told me, he was like, hey, there's a board game cafe. I was like, what is that? What does that look like? And he said, oh, there's a bunch of board games. They have some food. It's, it's pretty close to the college campus, so sometimes on Friday nights we go. I was like, that sounds like a great idea, and people should do that. And then Cardboard Corner opened about 2020, I think. They opened right... 21?
21.
Yeah, so they opened like right after the pandemic, and they were kind of struggling the first
This was
years.
a see a need, fill a need
Yeah.
opening, though. They're
And
like, hey.
that people need this, and people like this. And now, about every single town that I go to for murder mysteries, I see some sort of board game cafe or board game bar or something like that.
That was the best segue, Mike.
Okay.
So
All right, so before we-
Yeah, no, please.
Oral Roberts?
Oral Roberts, yeah, that's where he was.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
I'm a UMKC guy, so F Oral Roberts.
Well, listen, I went up to Minnesota. All right, I'm Minnesota State Mankato, so go Mavericks.
We have to play Oral Roberts twice a year. In basketball,
I
so,
see. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know if any. Say, yeah. F or I don't even know his name now. I'm not even gonna say that because I don't know who he is, and I'm trying to F him off, and that's just not right.
So
It's not my-
Sounds like a
blood.
dentist to me.
Yeah.
Oral
it does.
Roberts.
It does, but he was one of those televangelists.
Well, now really, F Oral Roberts.
Okay.
I'm on board. Anyways,
Anyway,
Speaking of going to different places in different states,
yeah.
yeah.
Did
So,
you?
so I do want to ask your thoughts on a couple of games.
Sure.
Smash Up.
Smash Up is great. I really enjoy it. Actually, tomorrow we are playing Smash Up. Our event tomorrow is Big Deck Energy. So we're playing a bunch of different deck building games and trying to introduce them to people, and while also having our own product and saying, hey, if you like board games, you should get ours. But yeah, Smash Up, that was, I think, also an early introduction, and I loved it. The idea of blending two decks together, right? Two different factions that have different properties. So if you play, how familiar are we with like trading card games, like Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic, those?
I never got into Yu-Gi-Oh or Magic or anything, but Smash Up is my game.
Yeah, because go ahead.
I've been a playtester for that game since that 70s expansion. Really.
Wonderful. Yeah, it's got so many good mechanics that you see in card games themselves. And I have a hot button question about gaming in general. But that the blending of two decks together and then being able to just blend any two decks together and try to outrace your opponent by capitalizing on the mechanics of, oh, this one is good if they die, or this one is good when I swing from one base to the other.
Yeah.
I think it's just brilliant. It's just really good.
This one is good when you give your opponents madness.
Yes.
This one is good when you play him. Your opponent plays an action and you can throw out Will Wheaton.
Yep. You had another game you wanted to ask me about? Sounded like you had a list.
Lords of Waterdeep.
Lords, I've not played that one.
Okay, you should. Do not play it with the Scandals of Skullport.
Okay.
I friggin' hate that expansion.
Okay.
Suburbia.
Suburbia is good. I really do enjoy Suburbia.
I actually introduced Suburbia to the gentleman who owns Pawn and Pine.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, this was a game night actually at the Opera House that I used to regularly go to, and he was there, and I got a chance to teach him Suburbia.
Okay, yeah. Good picks. Really good picks.
I was really looking forward to your guys' conversation and camaraderie because this is a niche topic and you guys both have depths to it that are just beyond people being able to sit and learn about. So it's awesome.
Coming from the game design side, one of the things that as we got more of a company and more experience under our legs, one of the things that I really wanted to drive with the company is to say, okay guys, we cannot just create games. We have to also do the market research. What are the other games like? What are the mechanics? And then got introduced to all the different genres of worker placement versus resource management versus deck building versus base breaking versus simultaneous play versus cooperative play, cooperative strategy, real time. There's so many different things. And so we had it as one of our New Year's resolutions. We bought a new board game every single month and play tested a new board game together to see, okay, what do these mechanics look like? Okay, what can we borrow from them? Ooh, what does this mechanic look like? And so then getting to fill the library of mechanical knowledge by seeing these different products and having all
Like
that.
being a master builder in Legos.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah.
Another game came into
You're
mind.
getting to see all the
while we're-
parts and you're like, I can see this being reconfigured this way.
Yeah.
Not
Oh, yeah.
just how the box said. I love it.
So another game came up, just
Okay.
Twilight Imperium.
Ooh, man, it's so long. It's a good game, but it just
Yeah.
takes forever.
What is forever to you?
6 hours.
6 hours.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's totally right. It's a
Which,
long
I
game.
mean, the normal game that everybody quotes with that is Risk. That's your first introduction to long gameplay
Yeah.
that takes more than just an hour. I think it's typical game of Risk takes about 3 to 4 hours. If you do it well and if you're all focused, yes. But that's kind of the introduction, and there are so many good, rich, heavy, detailed games that take forever to play. And I don't even think that's the longest game that I've ever heard of, like the longest time that a game takes to play.
I've heard diplomacy can take longer.
Yes, absolutely. So, and I personally really love those types of epic games where you invest, you sit down, you build, and you
get
stack
your
on top of
snacks,
each other.
you're committed to the day, and you're like, this is what we're doing together.
It's just really tough to find other people who also want to commit 4 hours of their life to a single game. Which is not to say that I have people who will commit that time, but to role-play games.
Yeah.
To tabletop role-play games like Dungeons and Dragons or any of the Powered by the Apocalypse spin-offs of the same thing. They'll be able to sit down for 4 hours and role-play killing a dragon, but they don't want to sit down and play Twilight Imperium. So it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
If you're out there and you want to play games, just tell me.
Yeah.
So Dread Gazebos, yay. The Emirates of Hassan. Do you say Hassan or Hakan?
I say Hassan. Yeah.
Okay. No, stay away from them. So, the Emirates of Hassan, I'm going to fill Heather in on this. They're a race in Twilight Imperium. They're basically humanoid lions that like trading stuff. So
Yeah.
Stuff, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
they're the traders. They're in charge of the Trade. Now, full disclosure, I am a founding member of the Kansas City Game Designers
Okay.
group. Shout out to Mike Compton, who got that group started.
Yeah.
They meet like every other Tuesday, so I'm not able to go anymore because of work.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely a group. If you haven't been going, you definitely need to.
That's what I've been told. I've bumped into them at CantCon, the convention. So we've crossed paths the first year we were there. The second year, this year we didn't cross paths. But I have heard their name and I have been meaning to go and check them out. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yep. Most Tuesday nights. And lately, the last time I went to a meeting of theirs, it was at Tabletop Lenexa.
Yeah.
Or where it is now before they got there. But great resource, great guys to pick up some tips and tricks from, and you get to play test other people's games.
Yeah.
So,
Do you ever participate in chess tournaments?
Chess tournaments? No.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of a stigma since if I say I'm Russian, there's an automatic assumption that I am fantastic at chess. So I try not to dip my toes. I like to play it. I'll play it with a couple of friends, selective friends. back in college, we used to play drunk chess. So we would specifically get hammered, and then we would start playing chess because.
Phone's dead.
Oh, yours is? Oh.
Oh no! So we would specifically do that because they wanted an edge on me, the Russian, who was really good at chess. I was like, okay, which only hurt them because then their focus wasn't as good.
Right.
So
right,
I don't
yeah.
do chess tournaments per se. I am doing other tournaments.
Yeah.
So asked about TCGs or trading card games. I've gotten really into Lorcana these days. It's a Ravensburger property that's specifically Disney, right? And Disney has created a Magic-like game where you have 6 different colors, you put them all together, you can build a deck out of it, and then you battle other people against their decks. And so they've started doing tournaments. Their first set got released in August, so we're on set number 4 now.
Terrence, is that you in the audience? Come on up, man.
Oh, there we go!
Okay, we're going to segue there. I'm going to let you introduce Terrence.
All right.
And I'm going to move it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Terrence Hayes.
Woo! Terrence!
How you
A
doing?
little
Not too
late,
bad.
but you're here.
Yeah,
All
we're glad
right.
you made it.
Thank you, man. Traffic here is crazy, man. It really is.
Oh, it was terrible.
It is terrible.
As I was driving here, there was a slowdown, and there was absolutely nothing going on.
Oh, yeah. Nothing.
Why did we stop for 5 minutes?
Exactly. But I'm glad to be here. It is good to be here, part of the Kansas City Fringe Festival.
Yeah.
And this has been a very huge year for myself.
Yeah.
Especially with my comedy. Of course, everybody knows me as comedian Petty Murphy and host of the Petty Murphy Project podcast. To be a part of this ever-changing culture here in Kansas City since 2018 with Patrick Mahomes taking over the reins, Kansas City is growing. And I moved back home in 2018. And being down in Wichita, Kansas, I moved back home because this is where I wanted to be. And I have seen nothing but great things out of Kansas City. This Fringe Festival is grown as well. I'm seeing with this growing, of course, we have the Kansas City People's Choice Awards coming up this Sunday. To be nominated and being a semifinalist 2 years in a row, one for the Petty Murphy Project, and then, of course, for my comedy this year, and seeing the growth of people knowing who I am with the comedy and everything else too, just not here in Kansas City, but across the country. It's great. And of course, this is a very huge week for myself. Doing this with you, Michael, because you and I just saw each other a couple months ago.
We did.
We saw
I was going to bring that up.
Yeah, we saw.
How about my Battlehawks?
Yes, the Battlehawks. Yay. The UFL had a very great, successful first season.
Yeah.
Shout out to what was Birmingham won again? Birmingham won again, and I hate to have to say this. My cousin Carlos Davis, who's from Kansas City, with the Blue Springs with the University of Nebraska, his brother Khalil played also with Birmingham as well, won the USFL title last year.
Yep.
Carlos wins the UFL title this year, so big shout out to my cousins as well. Khalil is now with the Houston Texans. Hopefully Carlos does catch on as well. So the Battlehawks did great. A.J. McCarron basically saying,
That's how he got hurt. Yeah.
That's how he got, until he got
Against
hurt.
Birmingham.
Till he got hurt, he's like, I don't want to be Burrowhead. Of course, we've seen Joe Burrow's head now. It's not even Joe Burrow. He calls himself Slim Shiesty. It's like, nah, just a rip-off of Cody Rhodes. That's all it is. But your Battlehawks did great. St. Louis is a great sports town.
Is that where you're at now, with St. Louis?
No, I'm here. I'm here in Kansas City.
Okay.
This is my home. This is my home, and I'm glad to see the Chiefs winning 3 Super Bowls in the last 6 years. I'm seeing the Royals basically growing with their fan base, with be behind Bobby Witt Jr. and everything else too, and the things that is coming to the city with the World Cup coming, with the Sporting KC. The Kansas City is becoming that new hub for entertainment, and with locals as well.
Yes.
We have to basically learn how to come together as well. Nobody's in competition with nobody too. It's because how everything is growing is because people are working together to make sure it grows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's real.
Good deal. So, seeing with football, how about Mr. Kelsey there?
Hey, Mr. Kelsey, Mr. Swift, what you want to call him? Hey, we owe Taylor Swift a lot. bringing in the Swiftie fans and bringing in a new age of female viewership. 330 million women watched the NFL last year.
Yep.
Not just because of it's the NFL. They just wanted to see which game Taylor was going to be at, and ratings went up. And of course, she's still not invited to the barbecue. But now we go back to every three-peat. We will have to renegotiate those terms. But Travis Kelce, he is the greatest tight end in NFL history. He's future Hall of Famer, first ballot. And then, of course, his brother Jason, who just retired, he's first ballot Hall of Famer as well. The way that they're able to basically bring their family together and, the Kelce family showing love not only in Philadelphia but in Kansas City as well, because we do embrace Mama Kelce as well.
Yeah.
As much as we embrace, Patrick Mahomes and his family, Andy Reid changed the entire nucleus of the culture of the Kansas City Chiefs and its fan base, and he's not had a losing season since he's been here. So, we got the stacks against us, but they said that last year. Oh, you're not going to repeat. Okay. All right. You're not going to beat Miami. All right.
Sub-zero
temperatures. You can't go to Buffalo and beat Bills Mafia. Wide right, too. Buffalo fans know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And then
with his shirt off,
then you can't go into Baltimore and beat Lamar Jackson, the rated MVP. Beat him. Then you can't go to Then you can't go beat San Francisco in Las Vegas at the Super Bowl. Don't people know that we own Allegiant Stadium? That's Arrowhead West, people. We own that. And I just recently went to Las Vegas in April. I'm actually going this Friday. I'll be performing live at the Sin City Seafood and Kitchen this Friday night. So I'm actually leaving Friday morning to go perform Friday night. And I saw a Raiders fan saw me in my Mahomes jersey. And he's like, yeah, we beat you guys on Christmas Day with Taylor Swift. Yeah, Raider Nation. So I had to remind him, yes, you beat us on Christmas Day. But how does it feel to know that we won a Super Bowl in your stadium? With Taylor Swift.
Yep.
Yeah, have several seats. And Raiders fans, they basically post this meme, and I was like, look here. The last time you guys were in the Super Bowl, John Gruden and the Buccaneers ran up the scoreboard like a Justin Timberlake bar tab.
Yeah.
Ran up the scoreboard like a Justin Timberlake bar tab. Have several seats. You guys haven't won a Super Bowl since I've been born. That's 41 years ago, okay?
And they're in Los Angeles.
And you're in Los Angeles, okay? And the last team to win a Super Bowl in Los Angeles is known as the Rams, which I know why you perfectly hate Stan Kroenke.
Yep.
But still, Raiders fans. So, look, I hope you have a great season. But you're not winning this season, okay? You're not. You can't even beat us in your own stadium. We own you. Mahomes is undefeated in your stadium.
Right.
And that includes the Super Bowl. So how does that feel on that one? But as a whole, for Kansas City, for this Fringe festival to go on, and to be a part of this culture, I'm forever indebted to that. And this is my home. I ain't going nowhere. I ain't leaving. All right, Wolf of Wall Street, I ain't leaving. Right. But I'm seeing how the comedy scene is evolved. It's changing. You're getting new comics. You're getting new comics that are coming from all over. And then what it does with our scene, it expands to different areas outside of the metro area, like St. Joe.
Right.
St. Joseph, Missouri. Big shout out to comedian Dan Raffman, who basically put a spotlight on the comedy scene, building that comedy scene in St. Joseph, Missouri. It allows me to go up there because I've done a couple shows up there. It's going to allow me to finish my movie, August the 10th at the Time Out Event Center, known as I Am Petty. So this is a project that's been worked on. This project has been worked on for over a year. A lot of trials and tribulations have come along the way. But I'm glad that I'm going to finish my story and finish my movie in front of the great people in St. Joe and hopefully people in the Kansas City area. So please get your tickets now. Go to I Am Petty at brownpapertickets.com. Give them at $10. It's $15 at the door. But if you are a United States veteran, whether you're currently serving or you retired, I'm letting you guys in for $5 for the things that you have done for this country and the sacrifices that you made. Hey, is that reason why I'm able to do what I do?
Awesome.
And the reason why you're able to do what you do, and what you do.
Where did Petty Murphy come from?
All right, so I'm going to tell the story on how I came up with the name Petty Murphy. I have a friend of mine who was telling me you need to reinvent yourself. Right? So I was like, okay, because I'm getting a lot of hate and everything else too. So I'm sitting in my mom's basement and I'm smoking weed.
Hell yeah.
And I'm watching.
A lot of creativity that happens in mom's basement smoking weed, okay?
Well, especially when you pay for the internet, the direct TV, the home security system, and the cell phone bills, you can do what the hell you want. So I'm sitting there and I'm watching Eddie Murphy Raw.
All right.
Eddie Murphy is my favorite one. Is 1A, 1B between him and Richard Pryor as my favorite comedian of all time. You can't go wrong flip flop it how you want it. And I said something. This is during the Petty movement on social media. This was 2015. And I said some shit on Facebook.
Now, when you say the petty movement, you're referring to the dictionary definition of the word petty. Like, that's petty. You are...
Yeah.
Okay.
So
okay.
basically,
I just wanna make sure
everybody was being petty.
was being petty, okay.
Exactly. Especially during the whole Trump and Clinton race. Everyone was being petty. And that's how America was great. Everybody with America was petty. Okay? So I'm sitting there and I said something on Facebook and some chick on there's like, you petty as hell. And I was sitting there watching Eddie Murphy do the Bill Cosby and Richard Pryor skit, where he's talking about the Bill Cosby and the other kind of Richard Pryor. I'm laughing. I was like, you know what? I'm going to change my name on Facebook. I'm going to change my comedy name. I'm going to call myself Petty Murphy. And that's how I was born. Just sitting there smoking weed and watching Eddie Murphy.
And getting called out for being petty.
And getting called out for being petty, and you basically create a creative genius.
Yeah.
You become a creative genius, and now it's a trademark.
Yeah,
it's
now
a
it's a
brand.
tag. I like
There
it.
you go. There you go. Yeah, good deal. So just parenthetically, my triumph of comedians, Eddie Murphy's up there, along with George Carlin and Sam Kinison.
Oh yes. And the thing that people don't seem to understand about those three comics, and of course, you know, Richard Pryor, Red Fox,
Yeah.
Paul Mooney, Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, Martin Lawrence, Bernie Mac, with these comics, these legendary comics, even George Lopez, these legendary comics, they speak truth. And
satire's been...
yeah,
That's where you can go for...
exactly.
the truth, even, yeah.
Exactly,
Back to
and-
newspapers, comic strip days.
Right.
It's-
And a lot of people don't seem to understand is that the number one thing that people hate the most is what they demand. The truth. I think you and I talked about it. Remember the scene from A Few Good Men? Tom Cruise and Jack Nicholson, one of the greatest scenes in film history. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth. That's the problem with our country.
Yeah.
And I want to say this is because we saw the video that happened out of Springfield, Illinois. Sonia Massey getting killed in her home, and she's the one who called the police. And there's a fellow podcaster down in Florida. I'm not going to mention him because he's a bigot. He's an idiot. I posted a list of all the names of all those of color, black, that were killed by the police. 101 names. Notable. And the reason why I posted it is because, yeah, there are instances where it happens, but what people don't seem to understand is that the media controls are what you want to see.
True.
And I put that list out there. And this guy just basically just attacked the list, attacked the people that were dead, calling them a bunch of criminals. How the hell can you sit there and say that? How can you sit there and talk about George Floyd?
Yeah.
We all saw a man with a knee on his neck, couldn't breathe, screaming for his mother for 9 minutes. What does his past criminal record have to do with a white officer basically committing murder and people recording it for the world to see?
Yep.
What does Sonia Massey tending to a boiling pot of hot water, what gave that officer any reason to shoot that woman? We saw the video. All she said was, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. That does not constitute shooting her in the head. That does not constitute basically when the cops come in there and say she's a crazy you know what.
Yep.
What does Tamir Rice have in a toy gun? At 12 years old.
Exactly.
Mike Brown. Philando Castile. Breonna Taylor in her own home in Louisville, Kentucky. Over a knock-knock warrant. And it wasn't even, they got the wrong address. What do these things have to do with it? And I have to say this, and I definitely said it, because he said this. You guys support these criminals, da da da. I was like, you know what? I'm glad you said that. It's because you support the biggest criminal of them all, Donald Trump.
Yep. 34
counts.
34 convictions.
34 counts.
He needs to be in prison.
He does. Convicted of rape. And you're supporting one of the biggest clowns. And the reason why he came at me is because I'm going to be 100% honest. I was not going to vote this year. I was not. I did not have any confidence in Joe Biden. I had no damn confidence in Donald Trump. We all saw January 6th.
Yep.
But when Biden did the right thing, because okay, Trump got shot. All right, this close. He got shot. And basically, I watched the Republican National Convention. It was like watching an episode of Hee Haw. That's what it was. It was basically it was more sympathy than it was basically about politics. Because this man got shot. And trust me, when I got off from work and I saw that news like Trump got shot. Hold up. And the dude missed him. It's like, that close. That close. And shot him in the ear. So now he has street cred now. And now he's the white Evander Holyfield. He's missing a piece of his ear.
Oh, good Lord.
But when he came out, the day one of the Republican National Convention with the bandage on his ear, people sitting there were crying like he was Michael Jackson at a concert in the 80s in Budapest. He just got shot. I mean, everybody gets shot every day, B. But
Let me ask you. Let me just jump in here, right?
Yeah.
Because because when it happened, right? There's an interesting point that how we respond to this now is vastly different from the last time a president was shot.
Exactly.
Right? Because something has changed. Something has happened. Because yes, he was still a president. He is gone down. He's not getting my vote in this next election. But the response to that event is vastly different from the last time something like this was happening. I don't know if it's because he was missed, because it missed him, and there was no serious fallout, because I think otherwise it could have played out a lot differently.
It could have, and he said it was about a quarter of a millimeter if he had turned to the right.
Yeah.
He would have got shot in the head. But apparently the guy had bad aim because he tried to run for the rifle team on his high school team and he sucked. I mean, he missed. Literally. I mean, but the ignorance that came out of it, because I saw this meme, the guy must have been Brodie James because he went 1 for 8. What the hell does LeBron James' kid have to do with this shit? I mean, really. I mean, that was a little borderline racist, and her name was Karen, by the way. I did mention her name on the Petty Murphy Project and her handle, so I hope her social media blew up. You're welcome, lady.
Right.
But the reason why, to answer your question, the difference is that Kennedy's was in black and white. It wasn't really told in social media in real time. There really wasn't no updates to where we had to sit there and watch it, and pretty much, majority of us wasn't born back then. So that was the last time a president got shot. Now, a presidential candidate that got shot was his brother, RFK. And then the last president that got shot and lived was Reagan.
Yeah.
So, with Trump, the magnitude of that, there was a magnitude.
Yeah.
There was a magnitude on both sides. And as I said this before, Malcolm X once said, the media controls the minds, which controls the masses. I'm going to tell y'all this straight up. I got the best sleep ever because the news would not stop. I fell asleep with that going on, and woke up and was like, damn, it's still on. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. Man, can somebody play MASH or something? I mean, do something. But how that all played out, and you guys seen this for a whole week, and I said this, I show sympathy because, for one, no matter how I feel about it, he's still a human being.
Yes.
But two, then again, you know, on the side, we have to pay attention to what we're seeing. I think a lot of people fail to pay attention, and they really didn't pay attention during COVID, during the lockdown, when you couldn't do anything. And I told people this. When you're not able to do shows, when you're not able to go see your family, when you're not able to do your normal life due to a pandemic, due to something that's out of your control, which is, you know, very much an act of God. When you're not able to do nothing and you're isolated, you should have been taking all that time to think about your life before this happened and what you're going to do after this happened. And I think COVID played a part to where people don't think ideology.
I don't know, because so I went to school up in Minnesota, Mankato.
Okay.
And I was there during the pandemic doing that, and then I was there when the George Floyd murder happened.
Okay.
And that shocked our entire school. We were up in Minneapolis, going to the protests, going to the rallies, and being there on the ground. And I have to say that I felt that the pandemic forced us to no longer sit back. And I think that's the starting point where we decided as a collective that we will not stand for things anymore. We're gonna move. We're gonna do this because we've been so starved. And I think that's, and it was not the tail end of the pandemic, but right about that point where things start to improve and we say no more. We have to respond to this.
Right,
And
we had to. It's because it was televised. You know, you had Breonna Taylor, you had George Floyd, you had Ahmaud Arbery, you had Jacob Black, you had all of this happen. Rashard Brooks down in Atlanta. What people are not paying attention is that we, as the new generation and the older generation, we're tired of it. We're tired of it. And with this going on here too, I told people when Trump got shot, pay attention. Shit's about to hit the fan. And look at what happened in the week. You have the Republican convention. Okay, ends Thursday. Okay, Joe Biden catches COVID Wednesday. Then Sunday, he drops out. Kamala Harris steps in. Kamala Harris made $84 million within 24 hours to be the nominee for the Democrats. Trump is mad. And what happens in between then? We have Sonia Massey. We have a lot of things that are happening that we really need to pay attention to. Everybody's always focused on social media. Always focused on that blue app or that X app or that Instagram app.
Right.
There's a lot of things that we are missing. And this is why we have such a cultural divide. It's because we don't understand one another because we're not paying attention to what's really real, which really affects us. So with the election, I'm saying this, I don't care. I mean, you can be Republican, you can be Democrat. Make sure your vote makes sense. Don't do it just because Trump can talk and talks about, I'm going to get rid of Sleepy Joe. And he dropped out. I mean, I'm going to basically build the wall. I'm going to finish him and close the wall. All these charges against me are erroneous. Rudy Giuliani is a fine American. Alvin Simon Theodore. All of that. You basically have to vote if you want to shape the future of this country. There's a lot of things that Trump did that has this country so divided. And I say this. It's like, oh, well, he did a lot for you. I'm sorry, but a stimulus check to me ain't nothing. I go work for that. That ain't nothing. That's just free money, tax money that I write off. But it didn't mean anything to me is because what am I going to do is I work for that. He didn't do enough. He didn't really do anything. Just call all his homies. Just call all of his homies some tax breaks, and then the rest of his homies went to jail.
Yep.
I mean, you know, and with the Supreme Court granting him immunity, that you basically just set that you basically
Precedent.
you're the president who's let it snowball effect for what he wants. And I know a lot of people talk about Project 2025 or Agent 47, whatever it is. Whatever that is going to happen if we do not pay attention and do something about it now. That means we need to basically not say Trump is the best option. We have other options out there. We have to see what Kamala's plan is and see how she attacks Trump. And she's going to go after him. She's a former prosecutor. She's going to go after him. And I say this because someone said that Donald Trump said if Joe Biden gets reelected, the country will be in bloodshed. If he gets reelected as president again, the country's going to be in bloodshed. Now, January 6th, I said this a long time ago. Now, all those people are out there. Had them been all the black people that were protesting in front of the White House
Yeah, exactly.
and went up to the Capitol, there'd be a lot more people dead.
Exactly.
I mean, you basically were the catalyst to the insurrection of a riot. You told them, we're going to march up to the Capitol and we're going to stop the vote. Mike Pence must do the right thing. Let's go up to I will meet you there. I will be there with you. You basically told these people to go basically mess up the Capitol.
Exactly.
You basically told them to go to be a disgrace to America, and the entire world saw it.
Mm-hmm.
The entire world saw it. That right there, the 25th Amendment should have been implemented right then and there.
Yep.
Get him out of office, impeach him, and make sure that he can never run for public office again. It's bad enough. It's bad enough. He can't even run his own business at Trump Tower. And yet alone, you're going to trust him to be the leader of the free world? After I watched the debate, I thought about it. Maybe Kanye West for president isn't such a bad idea. I mean, you know, he's eccentric, but he's Kanye. I mean, that would have been that'd been better choices. I mean, Justin Timberlake's bartender could have been the president of the United States. Don't vote for that. Right. But I think we as a country, we really need to pay attention.
Yeah.
For the next 100 plus days. Pay attention to what's really going on in the world. I think people need to stop watching reality TV because it's fake.
Yeah.
It's scripted. I think people need to basically, when it comes to adults, need to tend to their children because we don't know what they're doing. I mean, more kids are getting bullied in schools and committing suicide.
Do you have kids?
I have no children. I have nieces and nephews, though.
Yeah.
They are my kids. They are my kids. And I break this down when I mean that is that kids are committing suicide and being bullied more is because they see adults doing it on social media.
Yeah.
And then they want to blame the teachers and everything. No, it's you. If your kid is going around bullying another kid, where do you get it from? They get it from you. Because they see you on social media and you want to be your kid's friend. You got to stop doing that. And I think me as a comedian, I try to tell people, yes, I can tell jokes, but I can also be truthful. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what we need more. We need more truthful comedy to be funny and hurt. I mean, that's the comedy we grew up on.
Exactly.
And everything that has happened in our lifetime, George Carlin said it. He said it. Mm-hmm. I respect him much more. Going back and watching his old stuff.
Oh, yeah.
He said it. Richard Pryor said it. Red Fox said it. Cat Williams said it. I want people to understand that two statements this year are powerful. And no, it's not ski. You had an unhealthy allegiance to losers, and that's not like you. That's Cat Williams. Now we have They Not Like Us, Kendrick Lamar. If Kamala Harris comes out dancing to Not Like Us at the Democratic National Convention, it's a wrap. Because what we're seeing is this people in the ideology, because what Trump has done, he's brought back the old guard, the old America, where everything was being oppressed. He's bringing those people out.
Yeah.
We saw Charlottesville. We saw DeKalb. We saw January 6th. We saw all of that. And what I experienced yesterday. There are some real idiotic people in the world that are very uneducated. People will basically go to social media, go to one of those other websites that are not solidified, and basically run with satire. Or in the words of Donald Trump, fake news.
Fake news.
Fake news. It's fake
Anything
news.
I don't like,
It's
it's fake.
news. It's fake. It's fake news. It's fake news. If you watch the debate, because Biden fumbled, but Trump wouldn't answer any questions from Jake Tapper about January 6th when he asked him, "Do you feel any remorse about January 6th?" Trump changed the question. He learned that from Roddy Piper. Roddy Piper's famous quote, "Just when you think you have all the answers, I change the question."
Yeah.
Trump wasn't trying to admit guilt, but you can look on his face. It says guilty right on the front of his face.
It does. It does. Yeah.
I mean, you look at what he has done, and he's being defiant, and I do not want him to be my president because he's going to be turned into Fidel Castro. And at that point, if he does become president, if you don't like him, leave America. Don't go to Canada because Drake ruined that trip. Leave. I don't care where you go. Go to Guam. Go to Puerto Rico. Still, it's a U.S. territory, but you still ain't got to worry about Trump. But I personally have my passport ready. And it's like, I'm going to go see the world. I'm not going to come back to America if he's the president. I think if he does lose, it's a win for America. It's not. If he wins, it's a loss. Now, don't get me wrong. Joe Biden did the right thing. Keep your legacy intact. Keep your legacy intact. But if you want him gone because of his age, Mitch McConnell should be gone.
Yeah.
Mitch McConnell, if you want to talk about Joe Biden's health, Mitch McConnell pulled the Wendy Williams twice. And if you know about the Wendy Williams,
Hit the ground.
hit the ground. He's got to go. Lindsey Graham's got to go. Marjorie Taylor Greene, badly built body, it's got to go. Get rid of the old guard and bring in the new guard of politicians that want to change the culture, change the country. I think the Supreme Court needs to be overhauled.
Amen.
Because those judges that are on there that made those changes for Roe versus Wade, for the immunity for Trump, were Trump appointed.
Yep.
And if you're a woman, hey, I'm all for you to have reproductive rights. You should have those rights. You are a woman. You have a choice. Especially if you've been raped through incest or, any like that. You have the right. It is your body. Don't let politics and the government tell you how to have your body. And this is where women of all colors need to basically roll with Kamala. She's trying to give you your productive rights back. Biden hasn't said anything, but Kamala's been out on the campaign trail talking about this. You don't see Trump talking about it. Why? Because he doesn't care. He's a misogynist. And I haven't seen Melania Trump in 4 years until I saw her last Thursday. She's scared for her life. She wants to leave. So I think if Trump does not win, she should divorce him. Why? She gets half. She gets half. She gets half.
Half of what? Because he's already gone.
Yeah, he's already lost a lot of money, but he gets half of what's left. No, she gets half.
And unfortunately, this is going to have to be the last word because we are almost out of time. Mike, back to you just for 1 second. Pitch your game, please. I know we were talking about game design and Terrence.
No, that's all right. That's all right. No,
Yeah.
Just what you were saying, KC coming up as a culture, right? As a spot to be. That's what this game is all about. This is a love letter to Kansas City. So we flew an artist out. He took 400 photos of downtown Kansas City and all of the areas around it. We turned them into locations. So the game is a cooperative game where 2 to 4 players come together as a team. They choose what they do. They roll for the dice and they search through a city that's being destroyed by a storm. So they're racing against the clock. And all of the art is original. It's replayable over and over. There's tons of Kansas City references, and we got a Chiefs football helmet in there.
Okay.
We got tons of stuff. So
All right.
All
Yeah.
right.
Let's do actually final word. Brief introduction. Terrence, I did not get to really learn who you are. So you are Terrence Hayes. You are the Petty Murphy podcast.
You
are Petty Murphy.
I am Petty Murphy. I am the host of the Petty Murphy Project,
Thank you.
when you can find on all platforms. You can watch live interviews on Facebook Watch, YouTube. Follow on Facebook.com / The Petty Murphy Project, Instagram at The Petty Murphy Project, TikTok at The Petty Murphy Project, and subscribe at YouTube at The Petty Murphy Project. Ladies and gentlemen, like I said, I got some upcoming events coming up here. I'm going to Las Vegas Friday, so Vegas, I'm on my way. I need to basically go by Allegiant Stadium and go pee in the parking lot. Then make sure the Raiders don't. But I'll come see y'all Friday night at the Sin City Seafood and Kitchen. But Kansas City area, man, hey, on the real, August 10th, we need y'all to come on out to I Am Petty at the Time Out Event Center in St. Joe. You got Kansas City comedians. I got two of the top nominees for Best Comedian that are going to be performing. That's Dan Rathman and Peels. You got comedian Keith Lewis Spencer. You got Josh Lynch. We have George Zilla and AJ Slater coming from Omaha, Nebraska. We got music from Smash Stacks from Oklahoma. Ja the Poet, Amira BP, all from Oklahoma. We have Live Fast, Live Forever from Wichita, Kansas. We have Shauna Knapp, Kansas City's own. Pretty Boy E-Run is straight up from Kansas City, and it's hosted by my main man from Omaha, Nebraska, Cameron Edwards. Ladies and gentlemen, we want you all to come out. We are filming a movie. We need y'all to come out. People in the Kansas City area, people in St. Joe, wherever you are, come on out. Have some fun. The venue is 3,000 people. I'd be happy with 1,000. But come on out, everybody. Tickets are available right now online at brownpapertickets.com. To go to I Am Petty at brownpapertickets.com, or go pick up your tickets from the Time Out Event Center as well. I will be actually sending out more tickets out up there as well, getting them out there. But I'm looking forward to ending 2024 with a bang. You'll be seeing me in the TV series Return to Sheehan with Benzino. I got a couple more movie roles coming up as well. So
Thank you.
Kansas City's
Yeah.
the culture. Kansas City's my home.
Thank you very much for coming out tonight.
And
Absolutely.
that will unfortunately have to do it for this evening. I want to thank Heather, Terrence, Mike for coming and being on the podcast, helping out. And let's do it again tomorrow. Thank you and good night.
This podcast is Uncalled For is hosted, produced and edited by Mike Chernevsky. Opening music for our KC Fringe program is Welcome to Fringe, courtesy of Suno.com. Outro music for our KC Fringe program is Fantasia by Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 4.0 license. If you are in the United States or Canada, you can call us at 816-832-5160. Leave your message or question for us, and if we like it, we will play it on the podcast. Please support the podcast and purchase our exclusive Uncalled For merchandise. T-shirts, sweatshirts, mugs, stickers, and so much more. Go to www.cafepress.com/uncalledforpod. Thank you so much for listening. We will see you next time.